Almost Punk podcast, episode 25, I believe.
It is 25, a quarter way to 100.
You know, we've been doing this for a year now.
You're right. This is now May 2021.
Yeah, we've been doing this for over a year.
Yeah. Whoa.
It's pretty crazy. It took us a few months in the beginning to actually get the episodes out because they were stuck due to COVID.
That's true.
But I think we started recording probably like January of last year or so, but
we'll call this
get
the
released
1 year
around March. Yeah.
This is the first time we noticed that we've been doing it for a year. So this is the 1 year anniversary.
Yeah, I was like, should we do a show? And I realized we already missed our anniversary. But it's all good. We're all on COVID time, people.
And we got tons of news. So I mean, we're tons of stuff.
Tons of stuff going on.
What do we got?
So Punk Rock Bowling announced the festival lineup, and they've already changed it.
Yeah, they already changed it. Do you just want to go through it now, or do you want to go through an overview of all topics beforehand? Your call.
Let's go through it now.
All right, then it's going to be the Punk Rock Bowling final lineup, along with the Fest final lineup. We got Madball playing a show for 3,000 people right out in the open. Danzig talking about Misfits reunion and cancel culture. Fat Mike is now selling NFTs. Pete Davidson is playing JOEY Ramone in a Netflix movie. And then we got tons of music. AFI, Offspring, SUZI Moon, Bad Waitress, Rest Easy, and the Riverboat Gamblers. So, wow, we got a lot to talk about. And we got to just blast through.
We do. So the lineup for Punk Rock Bowling, Devo, Descendants, and Circle Jerks are the three bands that are headlining. I thought the lineup looked so good. I felt like it was actually better than the original lineup was supposed to be for 2020. But again, I am seeing the world in, post-apocalyptic glasses where I'm just excited to get to leave the house ever. Yeah. So that could be it, but I do think it's actually slightly better than it even was before, which I was really surprised by, because I thought this year was just going to be a wash. It'll be like, we'll get whoever and you're still going to come because if you want this thing to ever happen again, or if you want to ever leave your house again. And I was totally on board with that. No.
Yeah, totally. And I remember seeing that Lunatics were still playing and the Riverboat Gamblers were added. And I like all this, like you said, I was just, this is the greatest. I'm so happy. And then NOFX quits.
Well,
so that was a bummer.
Quotations. I was really excited to see them there again. I think we talked about it on our last episode. Yeah. And then, so yeah, they have canceled now and are replaced by Descendants because they were getting threats, and it sounded like they were getting death threats, which.
Well, they probably get them every day anyway, though.
That's true. But it's like, I don't understand what logic there is you are upset at someone's joke, so you want to threaten to kill them.
That's just, the death threats. It's probably not specifically the death threats that they're not playing, but there is the whole bad blood in the whole town, and there's going to be all this bad press about it, and they're going to rehash it over and over again, how he insulted the town and said that punk rock fans don't deserve to die, but country music fans do. And so I guess they just thought, hey, let's just not play this show.
Yeah.
And it was funny when they announced that they were playing the show, we brought this up then. And I remember saying, I can't believe they're having them play. They're going to have to deal with all this crap. And then they did have to deal with it, and then they pulled out. So
we called it
again. We predicted it. And, as I talked about the Fest, they have their lineup solidified as well. So I thought, okay, so on the West Coast, it's Punk Rock Bowling is going to be the big summer show for punks. But the Fest is in Florida. That's the East Coast one. They're a little more emo-y, right?
Oh,
that's, I mean, they have a Wilhelm Scream, Appleseed cast. But then on the other hand, they have Comeback Kid, Cobra Skulls, and then they share some bands on both of them, like Frank Turner, Good Riddance, Lawrence Arms. Yeah. They're playing it also. So Strike Anywhere is also playing. But then again, Wonder Years and the copyrights. So anyway, the Fest, huge show as well. Punk Rock Bowling, again, huge show as well. I won't be going to Florida though, but I'm glad we're there. And next.
All right. And next is Madball played a show in New York. And apparently there was a lot of sort of press and discussion about it because they played a show. I think they filed it as a one thing and it wasn't supposed to have that many people. So there was just kind of a lot of criticism and arguing about whether or not this is, you know, the right thing to do right now in the pandemic.
Yeah, I don't know. There's 3,000 people. I'm looking at these things. It's hella crowded.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, okay, if you're vaccinated, okay, well, I guess that's just the way it is. And we're gonna have to figure out how to deal with it. But then on the other hand, I'm sure there are people that weren't and didn't care. And then all of a sudden it's like, this is a super spreader event. And then I'm freaked out about it. So I think we're just in this weird middle ground thing where people are finally able to sign up to get a vaccine if they can find a place that has it.
Or some, and in some parts of the world. We're talking
it's only going to keep happening. I mean, this is just going to be more and more common. So I don't think there's any stopping it. This is just a heads up that things are going on. Like it or not, this is happening.
This is probably happening, and it's going to happen more. And I think technically, we're still supposed to wear masks even if we're vaccinated outside at like large events like that. However, I think that proves that that's going to be extremely hard to enforce because mask enforcement has already been extremely challenging anyways, even in, you know, little communities.
I didn't even think about it for Punk Rock Bowling. It's so far out. September, I think is what it is. So I wasn't even thinking anything. But yeah, okay, we're here now.
Mm-hmm.
They're not wearing masks. They're in the mosh pit. We listen to this type of music. This could be coming. And now we're going to have these personal choices where how close do you want to be to people? How close do you want to be to the band? And this is just going to be a new thing that I haven't really thought of before in the past of catching diseases from people just by standing next to them. So that's news. I don't know what I'm going to do, but I'm vaccinated. So that's good.
Yeah,
hopefully everyone else has the opportunity as well.
Yeah, it would be super interesting to go to Punk Rock Bowling and wear a mask, but that's a great opportunity to use all those band masks that most of us have acquired at this point.
They'll be selling them for sure.
Oh, they'll totally be selling them. And then it'll be like, oh man, which mask goes with my outfit? I mean, I think I have a couple of band masks. I have 2. So.
And now Glenn Danzig talking Misfits reunion. That's one thing. And then criticizes cancel culture. That's another. And then he said, punk rock wouldn't exist today, or if we went back in time with the same culture that we're bringing into the game, that punk rock could have never happened in the first place. And
I think that's interesting. On one hand, I understand what's big in punk rock right now is super like poppy punk from people who are never in the scene to start with. So that could be concerning. However, if you have cancel culture and we're all too sensitive, according to him, is I'm guessing the implication here, wouldn't that breed more inspiration for punk rock movement to begin?
That's one thing.
Because usually, right, isn't there more punk usually during like a Republican president?
And then
there's a lot of, because that breeds a lot of like inspiration and need to talk about political issues and so on. So maybe this is the worst ground for a punk rock movement or the best. It could go either way. Also
interesting though, you could also say, what does one thing have to do with the other? Because like, let's say this guy is a big rapist, but he stopped raping people. But you call him out for it and say, you know what? I don't like that guy and I don't want to listen to his music anymore. Why is that a bad thing? Like, you know, you're canceling, in quotes, you're canceling someone who is an asshole and you don't want to deal with them anymore. And you're just saying, I don't want that person to get millions of dollars anymore because they're an asshole rapist and I'm calling them out on it. It's like you're not calling out a good person for a good deed and canceling someone.
Yeah.
You're calling out old asshole behavior. So you're just saying like, how is the question, how long ago have you been an asshole to someone? And do you have to forgive them for it to not be cancel culture? Or are you allowed to just say, fuck this asshole, and I don't like them ever again, and fuck them? And I'm like, yeah, if you're a dick and I don't like you, then fuck you. Like, why do I have to support you, even if you've apologized? That's up to me. If I want to accept someone's apology, that's my choice. If I don't, that's my choice.
That's true.
I don't understand.
I think when I've seen people argue against, you know, having that as a thing, you know, against cancel culture, is that sometimes people will go back super far into someone's history, and maybe that person has learned that that behavior was not appropriate. And I'm not talking about rape. Like, we all know that that's wrong. I'm talking about, like, I don't know, being insensitive to certain topics or something like that. Or maybe like sometimes people do say things or do things that they did not even realize were offensive at some point.
So there is some sort of line where we agree that you can be canceled as a result of your terrible behavior.
Yeah.
But then there's also a line of what qualifies as terrible behavior.
Yeah, I think we haven't discussed that. And I think we talked about the conversations about, you know, racism and alternative scene, and you and I watched those like months ago, and that was something that they brought up, and I remember that came up as well. But it's like, the whole point of like a lot of activism is you want to educate people and you want them to change their behaviors, but if they're never forgiven, then why are they going to change their behaviors? Like, because, you know, right, like, what's the point? They'll say, well, either if I'm always this jerk, if I'm always this asshole, then why should I even change my ways? Like, if I'm never forgiven by anyone and everybody still sees me as that. So I think that's I think that's something that is kind of confusing. Like, some people are very like, if you've ever done anything wrong, you're canceled forever. Some people don't even care. And it's probably somewhere in the middle. Like, certain things can never be forgiven. Certain things can be forgiven over time. Certain things you might, you know, if you become educated and you actually change your mind about how you treat people, then you shouldn't constantly never be admitted into society ever again.
Yeah. But I think that's what I'm saying is, have they done their time or something?
I'm sure
like,
some of them
you know,
haven't,
Marilyn Manson comes up all the time now for all this old stuff that he did. And I guess you could say some fans are like, they don't care, but some people do. And I was just saying that you should have consequences for your actions in some way.
True.
And if people don't want to listen to your music anymore and they don't like you and they're never going to, I mean, that's because of what you've done. And, you know, what is he doing? He's not apologizing for anything. He's doubling down. And so at that point, I think that what you're saying is right. I think that there are just certain circumstances where it's not really cancel culture. It's like a consequence of being a dick.
Yeah. Because you're right. A lot of people are not even attempting to make an apology, or some of them are making an apology 20 years later, and some of them don't even make one at all. So that is true. But
like, are people getting canceled for minor things that happened an extreme long time ago, or are they being canceled for super bad things that they got away with and never got any crap for it ever? And so those are like two separate things. So when Danzig says that, I maybe he was more nuanced in the full interview, but when you just say something like punk rock couldn't have happened because of cancel culture, I'm like, you're full of shit. You don't know what the fuck. Like, I just don't agree with it. It's like consequence. I don't know. I've been a dick to people and they'll call me on it. Hey, you're a dick. Okay. It's up to them if they want to be my friend anymore or not, you know. And if I apologize and try to do things, maybe it's more likely to, you know, turn the tide on that. But if I'm continuing to be a dick forever and ever and ever, then why should they care what I think or promote me? It just doesn't make any sense. So I think it's a consequence.
Yeah, I agree. And then the next news was that Fat Mike was selling NFTs of like early NoFX demos,
This is
different
crazy stuff.
versions. It's so
NFT is
crazy.
taking over the world, non-fungible tokens. It's basically artwork as cryptocurrency, and you're getting a digital copy of something that you cannot exactly precisely replicate, although you could make a digital copy of it, but the digital original you would own. So have you seen people selling like these Microsoft Paint looking icons for millions of dollars? It's like these paintings that are digital paintings, digital icons.
Some people have way too much money,
This is
is
all
what this is saying to me. When they're like, oh, they'll spend millions of dollars. Like, I think I saw a news story. The first tweet ever was sold for like millions. And it's like, why do you want that? And I don't understand that. I mean, I want NoFX demos, but I don't want the other stuff.
I think this is a way to make a new economic system built upon a semi-pyramid scheme, where if you get in early and you just participate in this stuff in some regard, more and more people jump in and they pay more and more money, and eventually it just keeps going up and up and up, and the people at the bottom, they cash out and are just laughing about it after the fact. But as long as it keeps going, then everyone's happy. But we have not hit the point where no one is willing to buy this stuff anymore. I guess that's the question. Will there come a time? Will these NFTs that, like, a digital copy of a NoFX album that you can already listen to any way you want is now an NFT that one person owns? Is there ever going to be a point in time where people no longer care about that NFT, and the last person that purchased that NFT just spent $1 million and no one cares about it and no one will ever pay for it again, and then they're just stuck paying all that money? That's where I'm getting at the pyramid level of NFT.
I'm starting to think all cryptocurrency is a pyramid scheme after this conversation, because it is a lot of early adapters pushing for how awesome it is, and just waiting for everybody else to buy in so that they can make their money and bounce.
Maybe or maybe not, because you're thinking to yourself, well, shoot, I should get into this right now and then get out after I make some money. And if that's the way the world works from now until the end of time, I'm just participating in the economic system that's in front of me and making money as an opportunity, because there's no other way to make money in this world other than participating in this craziness. But then you feel if you don't do it, then you're dumb, because you're missing out on an opportunity that's just been handed to you on a silver platter. However, you recognize though that it's a complete scam. And so that's kind of where we're at. This is obviously ridiculousness, but do you care if you're making money? No. I mean, and the amount of money out there now, this economic system is, now we're into the trillions of dollars. So it's mainstream. Once the mainstream adopts it, that's what they do. Anything else to add on NFTs?
Yeah, I think it's just, again, it's really interesting that out of all the bands, NoFX is pioneering all these technologies during the pandemic. That's not the band I would think was the most tech savvy band out there, but I don't know.
Yeah, if NoFX is doing it, that means we'll all be doing it.
Ooh, I see what you mean. Yeah.
And finally, in the news, Pete Davidson is starring in a Netflix movie about the Ramones. And it's actually built on the book, I Slept with JOEY RAMONE. I read that book. It'll be very interesting that they're making a movie out of that book. It is written by his brother. That's why it's I Slept with JOEY RAMONE. And it's basically about his relationship with his brother and his life and JOEY RAMONE's life. And it's like their whole life together. So for
Oh.
this movie, they're going to probably have to pick a small amount of time to make a movie about whatever. I mean, you have to tell one story in a movie. You can't tell every story that was in the book. So I'm very interested to find out what story they're going to tell. And I thought Pete Davidson was a good choice.
Oh, okay.
It was very bizarre because I saw a headline that said Netflix or what was it called? Joey Ramone biopic in the works. And I just thought off the top of my head, who could play Joey Ramone? And I watch Saturday Night Live all the time. And I actually thought to myself, Pete Davidson. And then I read the article and it said Pete Davidson. I can't believe it because Pete Davidson is tall. He looks weird and he's gangly, just like Joey Ramone was. So and then despite all of those weird traits, chicks still love him, just like Joey Ramone. So I thought, hey, good pick. I have no qualms about it myself.
I have a hard time picturing him looking like Joey, but I'm telling you, I'd like to see. Okay.
He's going to wear a wig with long hair, and then they're going to
True.
put on those John Lennon sunglasses. And
That's true.
He's from New Jersey, so he can pull off some sort of New York accent or East Coast accent.
Okay.
So I'm thinking, oh, and he's also part writer. That's what it said of the script.
Wow.
So anyway, I'm very excited. And then more people will get into Ramones. And then it'll just be like a few years ago when everyone had the Ramone shirts again that came out of the blue.
Target, Sears, every store used to have a Ramone shirt.
I was a kid. So in the 90s is when I got into the Ramones. So they're already at the end of life at that point. But I had a shirt they were still together as a band. And then they broke up and there were still all the fans that already had the shirts. Of course, they have the shirts. And then years later, I think it was Hot Topic started selling Ramones stuff. And then you'd see some people wearing them and, more people get into them. But then you're right. Something weird happened and they were everywhere for a minute.
Yeah.
They were at Target. They were at like everywhere, even just regular stores had Ramone shirts. You see people that were wearing Ramone shirts and you wonder yourself, what? Really?
Yeah. They probably don't even know it's not a brand. But I think the randomest Ramones find I bought you a Ramones pillow, like a throw pillow for the couch from Pottery Barn Teen. Because I just randomly found it and I was like, well, Colin's gonna love it, so I'm gonna have to get it because I don't think he shops at Pottery Barn Teen, so I don't think he's gonna.
I still have that pillow. It's
awesome.
You probably don't want to put your head on it the next time you're over. I don't think I've washed it yet. It's several years old.
Oh, okay.
That reminds me, maybe I will wash it.
Yeah, just wash it.
That'll be fine. It used to be white and black.
I thought that
now it's off.
The Ramones movie was like old news, but now I'm thinking maybe it's because I have watched Entourage and they talked about making a Ramones movie in that show, which I think I rewatched during quarantine or something. So I was thinking, wait, I thought there was already a Ramones movie that was in the works.
You were absolutely correct about that. I do remember, now that you mention it.
They were trying to get Vincent Chase to play Joey Ramone because he's from New York.
In the movie, I mean, in Entourage, the show Entourage, they do talk about it, but it was also a real life thing. I remember them talking about they're going to cast it.
They couldn't get the script because somebody bought the script and they didn't want to make the movie, so nobody could make the movie. Somebody was just holding the script hostage.
Right. Yeah. So this is a complete starting from scratch, a different thing.
Not starring
not a continuation.
The fictional actor Vincent Chase.
No, nor Adrian Grenier.
Yeah.
Did I pronounce that right?
I think so.
Okay, very good for me.
And then new music.
Tons of new music.
AFI is continuing to release a couple songs at a time. I think that's what they're doing for their new album, seems like. And then they have 2 new songs. Dulceria, I think that's how you pronounce it.
Yeah.
Far Too Near.
Dulceria, I think that means candy store.
Oh, that makes sense.
Panaria is for bread, like a sweet bread shop. Dulceria is a candy store.
Candy.
Anyway, okay, Dulceria. AFI, we talk about them all the time. You know how they drive me crazy.
Mm-hmm.
The music is, it's like a disco beat. I'm getting into it somewhat, right? And then those vocals come in. I laughed. It was funny. It was the highest pitch I think Davey Havok has gone.
Mm-hmm.
He's already high pitch as it is, and I'm fine with it. But that is something else. So I'm saying you have to listen to this AFI song, not because it's going to blow your mind how great it is. I don't really like it, but those vocals, Davey Havok, he can do anything. I don't have to like it. I'm laughing hysterically because it is something. What'd you think about those vocals?
I was just so surprised by the music, I think, because it was just so mellow.
Yeah,
it felt like a light version of Black Audio. Like,
yeah,
if Black Audio is Depeche Mode, then this song is Erasure. That's kind of where my mind was going. Is like, it felt very very kind of upbeat almost, and so it was just kind of surprised because I'm used to them doing like synthy stuff, but it's a little bit more just.
Well, you nailed it already.
Yeah,
I really think that you called it early. I was just the vocals were something else on top of that, and it really, woo. I'm not going to put that into my greatest hits collection of AFI, but man, it is something else. And they have such a variety of sound these days,
they do.
AFI, that when I'm thrown aback because it's something even more different than them being different already. Wow. Okay. Well,
that's true.
There are no boundaries on this band.
Yeah. I like the other song better. The
Far Too Near was
kind of more of like a Black Audio-esque song. So
it actually had a rock element.
Yes.
That's what I thought. Okay. With Dulceria, I'm laughing, and this is a ridiculous movement or piece of work or whatever. Okay, this is a song that has a rock vibe. It's like a new wave rock song. It could have gone on the Bunny album, December Underground. I really wish they would just call it the Bunny album, because it's just more
convenient for you.
Yes.
Maybe their anniversary edition.
I don't think it could. Sing the Sorrow might be too far of a stretch for Far Too Near to Gone, but December Underground, okay. And I'd say I even like it better than some of the songs on Crash Love. So yeah, I'll say okay on that one. Far Too Near. I'm still looking forward to more AFI. Oh, you know what I wanted to mention though? I swear they're actually playing real instruments. It sounds like real instruments on Far Too Near.
Okay.
I had been just getting used to this synthy, fake bass, fake drums, fake everything, or I can't tell. And now I feel like, wait a minute, this sounds like human beings. Maybe it is. And maybe they're just fooling me, because they're now a mystery. AFI, they're a complete mystery.
Yeah.
But, when you're a fan, you put up with a lot of stuff that you wouldn't normally put up with. And then AFI, I think they test me more than Tool now.
Yeah.
I used to think that Tool was the band that was the hardest to be a fan of Tool, because they just don't care about you. I think AFI is harder.
This is a perfect segue, but what about the Offspring? I mean,
here we go. Offspring.
They test you quite a bit as well.
Couple weeks ago, we previewed the single, and we both slammed it pretty hard.
Yeah.
And we got crap for it online, which is amazing considering we don't have that big of a listenership in the first place. Yep. And we're still getting. I didn't know that Offspring had a fan base that would search the depths of the world to find out what people were saying about Offspring.
Yeah.
And hey, if I'm talking crap about a band, I can take the crap that you're giving. I don't like it when it gets personal, though. Some of the stuff, it was borderline. There's some borderline.
You know what?
Sexism.
We were canceled.
That was bad.
We were canceled by the Offspring community. Apparently, is what it is. Now you know what it's like to be canceled.
I guess so. And I thought, fair game. If I am talking crap about your favorite band, then if you don't like the show, fair game for me. That's fine. I just didn't want it to get personal about it, where we're not talking about band stuff anymore.
Yeah.
But anyway, the album, okay. It's not bad and it's not good to me. I'm okay with it, but there are things that I like about it, but for everything I like about it, there's something I don't like. And for instance, do I have this set, blah, blah, blah. The list of songs is important here.
Yeah, there was one song that sounded like a show tune, and that
okay. Yeah.
I can't remember the name. I was trying to find it as well, but it just sounded.
Yeah. But it started off, this is not Utopia, the first track. I'm like, okay, wait a minute here. This is Offspring playing punk. This is a modern punk Offspring song. And I'm thinking, okay, this is Conspiracy of One level, which to me, that's like the last Offspring album I really tried to get into. That was kind of the turning point for me. Conspiracy of One, it just didn't match Americana at all. So I kind of put it down. I'm like, okay, they've peaked. They're on their way down, but they're still, I Want You Bad. It's a catchy song, so I'm like, it's not terrible.
Like that one.
So again, first track, this is not Utopia, could have made it on that album. And then, Let the Bad Times Roll. We talked about it a little. And now that I've heard it a few times, I'm like, okay, I'm getting used to it. It has a catchy part. There is some good, I just really don't like the intro and all that.
I also didn't like the We Used to Have Sex
Oh,
song.
I haven't got there.
Okay, most of their albums have like a funny song.
Yeah.
But that to me that topic feels depressing. It doesn't make me laugh. Like, I don't know who listens to that song being like, oh, that's a great.
It should have been a punk song. That's the whole thing. You take the same lyrics.
Yeah, it's true.
Make it a punk song.
Yeah, because
it would be more good.
If it was more like Self-Esteem, I'd been like, oh my God, this song is amazing. You're right. But it just makes me feel like it just has a vibe of like, and again, with Offspring, the way they write their songs, you're not sure if they are writing songs that are personal topic, that are based on their personal experiences or cultural observations. And so it just feels like, is that what's going on with you guys? Are you okay? Like, I just feel sad. It just makes me feel bad for them or something. I don't know. It just feels sad, and like, I don't need a sad song about stuff right now. I'm like living in a pandemic. I don't know. I
didn't mind that it was sad. I think just like you said though, Offspring has a format. Offspring has a format of how they do albums. They have usually an intro-y type thing, an outro-y type of thing, a little musical interlude type of thing, and a funny song or two, just like you said. This was the funny song. It wasn't funny though. The music was jovial, but the lyrics were not. It should have been a punk song.
You froze when you said Offspring has a format how they do an album.
Okay, well, I don't have to go through the whole format again, but they do. And this album goes along with all their other formats.
Yeah.
And I think the same. Let the Bad Times Roll too. Lyrically, I don't have a problem with it actually. It's actually a good song. It's just you're good at the punk stuff, and that song would have been good with more punk.
Yeah.
Sexy more. Again, lyrics were fine. It should have just been a punk song, not this goofy song. Oh man. And so, like I was saying, for every good thing on the album, there's a bad thing. And then there's here's some strange things about this album. Coming for You, that song is 5 years old. Like, I just didn't understand. I guess they never put it on an album, but they played that on the radio all the time when it came out. I heard it a bazillion times already.
I also did not need a new version of Gone Away, because the first one is just so good that I don't need an updated version of it. But
they've been doing that at their live show forever now, though, where they do that weird acoustic-y version. I remember we saw
and I
play with
that.
Dead Sarah.
Yeah,
they did a duet, and then I hear this song, and man, Dexter's vocals. I'd never really realized the whiny factor. That's a high whine factor on these vocals. But anyway, since we saw them do the acoustic duet with Dead Sarah, I wondered why they didn't add something to it, like doing this a duet. If you're going to bother it's basically the same song. They just made it acoustic. I guess the hardcore fans wanted this somehow.
Yeah.
But again, you were right. No, I didn't like that. I didn't like how Coming for You was a 5-year-old song that they put on the album, along with, you know, a 25-year-old song. And then they also had Hall of the Mountain King, which is an instrumental. And not only that, they had a lullaby at the end of the song, at the album. There's only 12 songs. So it's 33 minutes. And what? So is that four fake songs out of 12 on a 33-minute album? I'm thinking if they would have cut the crap and just put out the songs, it would have been a pretty good punk album.
Yeah, I like, and so I liked it better than, you know, when we just had the single, but those are the ones I did not like. Those were my problems with it, but the rest of it is fine. So
yeah,
for the record, yeah, I like the other songs. It's just that these songs, I thought they were just such interesting choices of just kind of, I don't know, they don't match the album, which is, that's the problem for me, because the rest of it is actually better. So I feel like you don't need a joke song at this point, because I don't know, like, you have a big fan base, so you don't need to win me over with a joke song.
I've been complaining about the joke songs since Americana. They don't care about that. This album was okay. For the songs that are there that are songs, they're good ish. I listened to it. I had no problem. So anything more on Offspring?
I think we covered it. Yeah.
Okay. I just had a couple of quick takes here. SUZI Moon. It's because I talked about LA Machina or La Machina. I still don't know how to pronounce the band's name. I'm going to call them LA Machina. They broke up.
Right.
SUZI Moon went solo, and I complained because I liked LA Machina a lot. And I do not like it when someone goes solo and they name the band after themselves. I like a band name. It gives me the sense of unity or whatnot. Mm-hmm. So I was all down on it. But when you write a song as good as Special Place in Hell, I'm going to have to give you a pass. I thought it was really good. I'm looking to more.
Yeah.
I want the full shebang at this point. I don't care that it's called SUZI Moon anymore. I just think, just put out an album. This thing rocks. It's punk rock. I like it. It was raw, dirty. And if you like LA Machina, you're going to like SUZI Moon. I don't see how you could not like it if you liked LA Machina.
I agree. I also thought it sounds like if you like Bad Cop, or Angry Amputees, you would like SUZI Moon.
And a little rougher, a little garagier, just a little more rocking. I really liked it. So that was my pick. And next up I had Bad Waitress with Too Many Bad Habits. I got into Bad Waitress, I think it was last year. Anyway, again, this is garage rock as well, garage punk rock. I just liked it. I thought, well, shoot, this stuff, it's hitting me at the right time, these garage rocks. It had like a L7 kind of vibe, or a 7-Year Bitch. It was like a dirty, it's not like a punk, I don't know, modern. It's like punk in a different way, where it's more about rocking. It's punk rock.
Punk rock.
Punk rock. And apparently I like punk rock. So shocker.
That's weird. And then you had Rest Easy with Get Busy.
This band, I think they're newish. I just have a feeling I'm going to like this band a lot, because this one song, Get Busy, like you said, you gave me a note on what you thought. Old Rise Against.
Yes.
Anti-Flag. Yes.
Yeah.
But the good stuff, like just the good parts. And they hit it all. Like, there's nothing bad to say about this Rest Easy band. I'm looking forward to everything they do. I might like every song that they have. I don't know. I'm so excited about the future.
Yeah.
I just cannot wait to hear more. This band might have album of the year.
Whoa.
I've been waiting.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You've already called the worst album.
I called the
year,
worst one in January.
That's right. So
which was Weezer.
Yeah.
I still, I guess I'm still sticking to that at this point. I haven't gone back and listened to it again. I think I would have to before I start making my final calls on things. But I'm looking forward to Rest Easy, and I think I might be overhyping them to myself.
Yeah, they totally reminded me of like the first album I heard of Rise Against, like before they were, playing stadiums, and it was just, I was like, this is like early days Rise Against, which I really like too.
Yes.
So I'm excited to hear more from them as well.
And then the curveball from Riverboat Gamblers. This was a cover song.
Yes.
From like the 70s, Gary Rafferty.
Yeah.
That's weird.
Yeah, I wasn't sure why they picked that song to cover, but they did. What I thought was cool is they did make it sound like them. Like it doesn't, it was sped up. It sounded like, because of their singer and
sped up compared to the original. Let's not give the impression that it is a fast song in the slightest.
Correct.
Okay, continue on. Sorry.
But yeah, they really did. I think that I like that if you're going to do a cover, you might as well, you should just put your own spin on it, because I can just listen to the original.
Yeah.
So I like that.
Yes.
But yeah, I don't know. I'm it's not like my favorite of their songs. I'm excited that they are recording. I'm just kind of confused as to why this song. I think I want to know more. Like, why did you guys cover this song specifically?
To me, it was a reminder that they still exist, which I think about them all the time in my dreams, because I'm a big fan. But it's a reminder to the general public that they're still alive and out there and doing stuff. Good. They are playing punk rock bowling. Good. They have that 7-inch coming out at the end of the summer that eventually we'll hear.
Yeah.
So they got things going on, right? So they put out this song, but is it a prelude to a new musical style that's more country, slow? You know how I don't like that.
No.
when punks go country, I complain about that.
I do know you complain about that, but when we talked to the singer, Mike, he said that he's writing solo material because it doesn't sound appropriate for Riverboat Gamblers or his other projects.
Mm-hmm.
So thus, I'm going to decide that, they know what their sound is and they're not trying to like radically change it. And also, it's just too many albums in. I mean, you can change your sound whenever. It's your creative product, of course, but I feel like bands tend to do that earlier, like when they've put out maybe 2 or 3 albums. A lot of bands might start experimenting with sound. You don't do that after like that many albums.
Well, remember when we started quarantine, they had the Riverboat Gamblers and Orchestra.
Yes.
That was a new thing, a completely different sound that they had. There was like a 50s, 60s
big
thing,
band.
old music style. I don't even know what the genre is called because I'm not that good. This album, I mean, it's not like that stuff on the Orchestra album, but it's like the next step forward from that stuff. So I'm thinking, okay, they played this old 50s, 60s style music, and then they got this 70s style cover, and they got Dracula's with the 80s style stuff. So it's like they're going through the decades of music, and
they're going to do a grunge album. Next, is what you're trying to say.
I'm thinking by the time their album comes out, they will debut a new thing, and this will be an album that might be unlike their previous albums, which could be good, but that would be darn hard to do, because the Owl album, super good. That other album that was right before it, I can't remember. The Wolf, I still like the Wolf album.
Do you just name every album that has an animal on the cover? That's the name. Okay,
it's something to crow about. That one was good. That's the one I remember. There's the Crow album. There's the Owl album. There's the Wolf album. That's the thing. You get me every time because I never remember any words to any song I ever like. I don't know any of them. and I don't remember the album titles of anything. I just remember what the cover looks like, and then I can't even describe it, even though I know what it looks like. And that's bad.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. I'm curious to see what their next recording will sound like.
Yes. I'm glad they're putting stuff out.
I am glad. We've been waiting for a really
Yes.
long time, but this is
I'm
not
not blown away right at this exact moment, but I am very intrigued. Very intrigued.
Yeah.
And that covers the music.
That covers the music. Do you have a grudge this week?
Yeah, I remember I was gonna put working from home because I'm just tired of working from home.
And then
I thought I'm just tired of because you mentioned it, and I just thought, you know what? I'm just tired of working.
I'm with
so
you.
I'm just, it's not a giant grudge. It's just, I've been working from home. I've been working from home for over a year. I'm happy that I have a job where I can work from home. That's good news. So, pros and cons.
Yeah.
I am just exhausted. I have a fatigue factor that I did not have before. Plus, I'm now, whatever shape I had, which I was not in shape in the first place, I've lost it all. So I'm starting from scratch if I ever leave this house again. I feel like within the next few months, I will have to do something. And I don't know if I'll be able to physically do it.
Yeah.
I'm just fatigued. So work fatigue.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you on that. We're late on recording this podcast by a couple of weeks because work's been crazy for both of us. I'm just tired of working from home, but I'm also like, that's my grudge, is I'm also like not excited to go back to work either. Like there's pros and cons, and now I have been really waiting to go for the chance to go back, but now that it's looming, I'm kind of like anxious about that. It'll just be so different, and everyone's habits and everything you do is just so different. Like now I just wake up and I work in like pajamas for a bit, and then I'll like take a break and I brush my teeth and I get dressed. But I can't do that when I go to the office.
You're going to have to remember how to be an office professional.
Yeah. Or how to even like deal with people, period. Like that. It'll be, so that's just, just
I mean, I was good. I was a good office professional. And now I have to remember how to go do that again. And you're right. It's hard.
Yeah. Somebody said hello to me while I was walking my dog, I think yesterday. And it took me like way too long to figure out what to do in this scenario. I was like, well, because I don't live in a place where that happens, where strangers say hello to me. And I'm out of town right now. And so that happened to me. And I was just so surprised and shocked. I was just like a good 30 seconds went by and I was like, oh, hi. I was just kind of like, what do I do? What's happening? So yeah, it'll be really weird to go work with other people.
And then be surrounded by 3,000 punks watching Madball in New York City with no masks. So, I mean, I don't know about the slow build back into society. You might just get tossed right back in, and then we'll have PTSD and deal with it, through therapy if we're lucky, or not, and just be
through
bad condition,
or through MLM scams if we're not lucky. just buy some product that will cure all of that.
Oh yeah,
but only $19.99 a month. So
well, it has been a good way back into episode 25, a good way to move into the next episode of Almost Punk Podcast.
Yep.
This one though, we're wrapping it up.
Yep. Follow us on Instagram. Send us email at almostpunkpod@gmail.com if you want us to talk about any new releases, or if you have a grudge, or if you're dealing with, trying to remember how to function in a society that you have not been a part of for over a year. And we'll be back next time.
Over and out.
Bye.